You should be live. Indeed. Grand Rising, Kangs and Queens. Welcome to a special episode of the Untitled Goon Roundtable. We are back. After a long ass time, we are back just in time for the holiday season before Kwanzaa.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
You know who it is?
Hakeem.
Mr. Hakeem Kaiser.
And then we
Assalamu alaikum.
and then we have our good friend Caleb joining us. Rare appearance. Say hello to the people, Caleb.
What's good? Very rare appearance. But I'm here, CMG Caleb. However you want to say it.
Yep. Today's episode 13, baby. Hoteps, Bullteps. We're talking shit about the Hoteps because enough is enough. We gotta criticize it. we, we gotta.
Enough is enough.
Okay,
I mean, you
so
might have to open your third eye, my brother. Enough is never enough.
Corn, broccoli's man-made. But nah, I decided, we've been planning on this, but time, some scheduling stuff prevented us. But we decided to do our part in criticizing the ideologies of the Hoteps, Black Israelites, and anything that's Afrocentrist in general. Because lately we've been getting tired of their presence and their misinformation and their revisionist history, just like how we're tired of groups of white people doing the same thing, but European based and whatnot.
Right.
Because two
The
wrongs,
whitewash.
yeah, two wrongs don't make a right, and
Two wrongs don't make a white.
bars. That's an ad
My
lib.
brother.
God damn.
I gotta stop laughing. My chest hurts from that fucking seizure, bro.
Oh shit! That's what happened. Oh shit, Hakeem. Damn, I didn't realize it was a seizure, bro. Oh, bro.
That's just speculation. It
That
wasn't
is-
said. Actually, if you want to know the technical diagnosis of what happened, it was
Sure.
altered mental state, altered mental state, unspecified.
Goddamn medical documents. Yeah,
So
but
this man got the X gene and then just
yeah, so if it didn't activate correctly,
X gene didn't activate, didn't get his powers.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel different.
But not in a
feel
good way.
stronger.
Are you sure? You sure, bro? Got that
feel
Zen,
stronger.
got that Zenkai boost?
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, everything's fine, but I'm just slightly 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah. Like my spine oddly feels more in line now than it did before.
Are you sure?
No, I'm dead ass.
Oh. Oh.
In
It
what
might
manner
just be
did you fall?
placebo. Huh?
In what manner did you fall to fix your spine? Teach me that.
For real, I'm trying to get.
It was a lot of movement, from what I remember.
All right.
It's more of a process. But sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah, it was a tangent, but that's okay. So to get back on track. Let's educate the audience about the Hoteps. What are they? Just to give a brief idea, they're a subculture of Black Americans, maybe Black people from other countries too, but a lot of them Black Americans who believe in an Afrocentric view of history. And so that involves a list of things, such as Egyptians were 100% Black, not just Black. An idea of Black people being like one of the ethnic groups that are indigenous to the lands of Egypt. And by Black people, I mean the Nubians, but just Black people. They were the original Israelites. That's one thing, especially specific to Black Israelites, a different group.
My brother.
I guess to make it this shorter, they basically believe that Black people were the first everything. It's only a matter of time till they decide we're the first Black. We're the first Chinese or some shit. I don't know. It's only a matter of time till they figure it out. But yes, they say things like first black samurai, first natives, first Mayans, Aztecs, first Irish and leprechauns, or some
Now,
shit.
the first Black Samurai, they were cold. They were cold. I remember reading a book about. I
Yeah,
remember reading a book about.
yeah. I
He
mean,
was
okay.
cold, bro.
No, Yasuke is cold, but then when they say the
Real
first
cold, bro.
when they say the very first black samurai, I mean like they were saying they were the samurais, not the Japanese. They're
You
the
mean
ones
the
who
first
invented it.
black people were the first samurai in general? That's
Yeah,
what you.
yeah, yeah. Not
Okay.
I don't mean it to disrespect Yasuke. You know that's my boy.
Yeah.
You know he
Right.
pulled through. But
Yeah.
beyond that, they making claims,
Mhm.
strong claims for no reason.
Okay.
But and then we had the Black Israelites, which is a group who kind of have their own
Yes.
ideas about the first Jewish people in
Mm.
history were black,
And they
based
love
on.
to show up in them. Oh,
Hmm.
sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say they love to show up in Atlanta anytime there's an event.
They like,
Anytime MomoCon, Dragon Con, they'll be there.
they like to show up for any event or for any reason, bro. I
Hmm.
don't see them much in the Bronx, but
Anywhere with an audience.
hmm as long as there's a large grouping of people, they'll be there. The spread about black people being the original Israelites and their own like versions of the what happened in history
Hmm.
based on like very specific details in the Bible that may not be that need to be considered more carefully, I guess, and other details.
Mm.
So a lot of it is just conjecture. Now, just to give my opinion on the matter, they they really we need to find a way to make them more silent because a lot of this is just like revising history that's not
You
even
trying to
true.
silence? You trying to silence our history, my brother?
And they're trying to silence the real history yeah, by denying their lineage with the West Africans. I mean,
For no reason.
don't get me wrong.
For no reason too.
What did they?
I would love to be related to royalty somehow. But I
What?
know for a fact that my ancestor is just a random farmer somewhere in, let's say, Nigeria or some shit, man.
Mm.
I,
Hey, you know what?
But
The
what if he was a
fucking
king?
he didn't last long. Clearly, if I don't know his name.
Maybe you just removed. Maybe you just whitewashed your history, my brother.
It's hard to whitewash a Dominican. Trujillo tried. He did. It didn't work by default. Sammy Sosa tried, and he just looks awful.
So who tried?
Sammy Sosa, he tried to,
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about.
yeah. These bitches love Sosa.
Wrong Sosa, nigga. This nigga talking about bitches love Sosa. I'm talking about a different Sosa.
Hey man, they love that Sosa too.
The wrong ones.
All the Sosa can get love.
Uh huh. Yeah, so I don't support them because they kind of robbing the people who live in certain areas, like their history, or they're
Mm.
I should say co-opting it. It's already bad enough that, as far as I'm aware, Egyptians aren't. They don't really do too much to. It's already bad enough that a lot of Egyptian history gets co-opted by everyone else but Egyptians, pretty much. Especially certain aspects that are like related to like ancient Egypt, unless it's like for tourism, I
Mm.
think. Uh, but we don't need to make it worse. They're fellow. They're part of Africa. We need to help them protect their history, not like change shit up. Because Egypt is just one of those countries that have. If you try to look at it as
A
an
lot of
ethnic,
history.
it has a lot of history. It's very rich. That they
Yeah.
became disconnected ever since like Islam did its thing.
Mm.
Because there's been a disconnect between the Egyptian Arabs and the Copts, one of the indigenous groups of the land.
Mm.
But my point is like they have rich history, and part of that rich history comes from the fact that they are very diverse ethnically speaking. And it's not like just people who look like how most people think, black people primarily looks like, the sub-Saharan types. Just we have our Nubians, we have like the indigenous Egyptians that I guess you could base on who we see most of the time when it comes to modern Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and like a number of other groups, like a small group of Berbers in one part of Egypt, and several other groups that are still around. So it's like kind of a bit of a disrespect to it, especially with how Egypt not only does have a rich history, but also has like a long history of like conquest, kind of like South Italy. South Italy has a long history of
Yep.
being like conquered by like all these
Conquist.
different groups between
Mm-hmm.
the Arabs and the Greeks and all these other groups that kind of became a part of their like genealogy, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I guess it
All the
bothers me.
Crusades and all that.
The Crusades. Yeah, so it kind of bothers me um, that this is kind of happening because I don't think this is like a good way to try and embrace our blackness, especially when
Mm.
people are really really want like the black diaspora to like unite. So that's my take on it. Now your turn, gentlemen.
All right, you got it, Caleb.
I'm like,
I know
yeah,
you
no
want to talk.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got
I was
sources, my
listening.
G. You
I
got
was
sources.
listening.
Yeah.
Um, like on this topic, I'm really torn, and
Mm.
I'm torn because there's truth. It's just
Mm.
truth gets really diminished by extremism, and that's really the
Mm.
case for like Hoteps and like the Black Israelites and
Yeah.
whatnot.
For
It's
sure.
it's very like think of ancient Egypt or just Egypt, before European imperialism
Yeah.
as
Mm.
like literally fucking America. Like that's how diverse it was. Like Macedonia, like all these other. This is when Alexander the Great was there. That's when it really
Yeah.
got like super super diverse. Like
Mhm.
it was literally a fucking melting pot.
Yeah.
So you know, to say like, oh, Egypt was white or Egypt was black, or Egypt was X, Y, and Z, that's just doing a disservice to all like the diversity that's
Reductionist.
kind of there
Yeah.
already, which is the problem because it's just like it's the same like the thing about like modern Pan Africanism when it gets to like the Hotep level
Mhm.
is that it's the same like ideological train like the same ideological track as like white supremacy.
Yeah.
There's no logical way to rearrange it where
Ooh.
you're not doing the same thing. I literally can't. Like I
Ooh.
it's hard. Like you can't like it just so happens that if this succeeds, I'm on the beneficiary side. So what really changed like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it just so happens that
Say again for the people in the back.
you know what I'm
Damn.
saying? Like we've seen this story before. We
Mm.
we've seen this historical revisionism before. Just because I'm finna benefit from it does not mean that like I don't see what's like
Yeah, we see the
Yeah.
you're
proof in the pudding this time.
yeah. It's like yeah, like I see that it's like I see the convenience of I see the financial convenience. I didn't even get into the
Mm.
economical part yet, but I see the
Yeah.
Oh,
financial
oh, there's
convenience.
big, yeah.
Yeah, of like just getting all black people and be like, we're all just one shit. I literally see the financial convenience in that because then all the money's in the one place and just have a protective shell on like infrastructure and education and medicine and
Mhm.
food and whatnot and just
Yeah.
production in general.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell,
That looks good.
that's kind of what like Pan Africanism is trying to
Yep.
like head towards too. They want like it's really more of an economic, in my opinion, it's really more of like economic route.
Power
Like
structure,
exactly, they really just want like economic power,
collaboration.
y- economic power. I'm gonna really go as far as
That.
economic power in like in the hands of black people, and that is really not a
Mhm.
bad
Mm-hmm.
goal. In fact, I
It's
For
not.
actually
sure.
really endorse that.
Yeah, hundred
However,
percent.
like if it means just destroying everybody, let's do it.
Is it worth it? That's the
like
question.
because it's like there's no okay, like you're not like okay, let's just strongman this for a moment.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Like let's say for example, right, that like because like I'm not trying to really like put too much of my views in this, but like let's say for example that like all right, military industrial complex, white supremacy, like that
Oh.
is like in full effect and exists, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
To get for like Pan Africanism to get to where it has to be, that has to go.
Yeah.
There's no coexisting. And if that has to like are you
It
gonna
would
really
be gone
convince them?
violently.
Literally. So it's like I feel like that it's kind of begrudging us into like a future war,
Mm.
either a civil war or you name it. Like that's kind of where like this kind of ideological path is heading.
Mm.
We're just like, well, we're just gonna take it now. I don't know with what power or whatever, or what type of like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of where it feels like that's being endorsed. Is just like,
Here's a question. Is this okay? This is just to throw this is just to throw out some interesting topic. Do you think that in the event that it came to that the
Mhm.
Pan African nation would be able to win?
I mean, well, I'm gonna let Caleb answer this.
you ever seen an F-35 fly over your head?
No.
Yeah,
Exactly.
hell no, bullshit. Yeah,
Hmm?
not if not up against that shit. And that's just one plane. Nigga
Yeah.
clears. That shit clears. So, you know, like, at what point does the run back end? At what point do you not run it back? Because all I really hear is like, we gotta run it back. Because it's true, right? Now,
Hmm.
there's half truth to it, right?
Hmm.
Because like it all boils down to this:
Yeah.
1800s European imperialism in Africa. Really
Hmm.
just boils down to that bullshit right there. Even like
Yeah.
1700s, 1600, like just that whole era when Europe just like fucking like just
That was a tough
fucked
time.
up, Africa, like just kind of
Yeah.
just pure finesse,
Finesse an
finesse,
entire continent.
yeah, finesse of the highest caliber. Like niggas want the get backs so bad,
Yeah.
bro. Like, like
Yeah. Yeah.
because a lot was erased and a lot was robbed and a lot has not been answered for. That's just truth.
Mm.
Looking at you, Belgium. We all know what you
Yeah,
did to the Congos, bro. We ain't
like
forget.
And this time it comes with vibranium.
exactly.
I hope so.
But how the question is like how is that mission aligning with like how the state of African American people are right now? Not even like talking like from other countries, just like African Americans.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like like how does like because it feels like there's a disconnect,
I mean, yeah.
and the disconnect is that a culture in African Americanism that started roughly around like 1950s has started and now it's kind of its own branch of history and it is literally just continuing and
Hmm.
it doesn't really have much to do with like Africa anymore.
Not at all.
It's a result of post-slavery and that's the new cultural
The
trend.
new world.
It's literally so and
Yeah.
that's what's kind of been like the genesis of like African American culture
Hmm.
is stems from and post slavery, and that's kind of like the genesis.
It's kind of
That's the
crazy
track. You know
when
what
you
I'm
think
saying?
of it in the grand scheme of things. It's kind of crazy, like how an entire like because when you usually when you think about culture, you always think about something that's been alive for like longer than your grandparents, grandparents,
Yeah.
grandparents, grandparents. And then like when you think about something that literally just started with people you could still talk to is kind of crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like at what point? Because there's a whole like 500-year fucking gap called slavery. That's a whole
Mm-hmm.
historical barrier. Like, when is it right or wrong to reach over that and reclaim what's before that? Like, like who really like like do you really have a claim to that? And that's like the big question that like
I think so. I think so.
I mean, it's only
To
right.
which degree? See, yeah, I'll take my own personal opinion. I think so. To what degree? That varies because of course, now it is like because we've grown up in African American culture, right? It's like
Yeah.
we
right,
still do have claim to our African culture, but we've also grown up in the African American culture because like we never got to know what we never got to know at the
exactly.
end of the day. And it's not like it's not ours. It's like if you reach the blood back a couple generations, it's still ours.
I'm saying like that's still me.
Yeah, but that's still cousin.
Yeah.
We just got misplaced. We just got left at the grocery store for
Yeah.
like a couple hundred years.
Yeah. With the help
For a
of
brick.
our own people.
Yeah.
With the help of our own people too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
like that right there.
Yeah.
That right there. So
See,
like
now you owe us.
yeah. So let's talk about England for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I get fucking upset, right?
Mm,
Because England was technically the first like country to like disband slavery. Why did they disband slavery? Financial. Why would they say they disband slavery? Ethical reason. We know that why they really disbanded slavery was because slavery was not. By the time 1800s rolled around, by the time they disbanded it, slavery, because then that's ready 1800s Industrial Revolution. There was
Mm-hmm.
a point where slavery was obsolete because machines were taking over. So that's
oh
that's
yeah.
really that's
Industrial
really
Revolution.
why
Yeah.
what I'm saying, that's really why they said like, all right, this is just becoming nonsense. So with
Mm-hmm.
some pretext of like ethical reasons, they fucking said no. So what they did was they had a fucking embargo and they went to African shores, and
Mm-hmm.
the business that they
Booming.
fucking started, they went and embargoed them and sent fucking like basically sent the British Navy to fuck up the shores of like West Africa to shut
Woohoo.
down the slave trade that they fucking
That they started.
that y'all fucking co-opted like
Crazy.
with no
Crazy
warning.
how that worked when you're not benefiting from it anymore.
We're not benefiting over. No one's benefiting. Bitch. So you have whole empires, whole West African empires that were be- the homie empire. Sure you remember?
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a movie about that, but
The niggas got
that
tired
Mm.
with that movie.
yeah, but that was a real
Wait, which
empire.
movie?
Mm-hmm. The
The
Woman King.
Yeah,
Oh, that, yeah.
that was based on a real empire,
Yeah.
and
What's up, Richard?
that what's up, Richard?
Hey Richard.
And that in particular, that was one nation that you know kind of like how we have nations in the world that really benefit off of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Were we just talking
Yeah.
about this? Like last night or yesterday? I feel like we were just talking about the oil shit
You
yesterday.
know what I'm saying? Kind of like we have some nations now that really benefit off of oil that
Yeah.
a superpower endorsed. You know what I'm saying? Like the homie empire. Of course, there was other things that it had, but it like they benefit off of slavery too because that was just the agreement. That was
Mm-hmm.
just a financial agreement. Okay, we give you this, yada yada. We take this. All of a sudden, you come up randomly and you're just like, yeah, we're not doing this no more. Also, if you do that shit, we're gonna fuck up your shores. And then war ensues, and now your empire is annihilated because
mm.
they had a conversation in England that didn't involve you, and they just said that shit's not financially beneficial, and now
Mm.
your economy's dead. but you're a continent away. So it's like, it's like, yeah, had slaves, but like also got fucked up. Al-
Mm.
Also got fucked up in Africa too.
Yeah.
Like they got hoed, like, they got hoed, and then they got conquered. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like double whammy. Like we're gonna shut down your economy, and we're gonna take over your country, and
Yeah.
this
Like,
shit's righteous. Like
yeah. And they're just gonna believe they're doing the right thing. Crazy.
And it's unfortunate too because if they weren't so dependent on the fucking slave trade for the economy, maybe shit would be different.
I agree. I
Mm.
agree. That's kind of where
That's where they
like
take that. Off.
that's what they took out. A lot
Yeah.
of like just way too okay. Like there was more harmony in Africa than there was in Europe. Well, let's
Yeah,
just like
Mm.
just making that just known because the proof is in the pudding.
yeah,
Because
Was there though?
yeah, and I'll put
All
it
right,
this
you
way.
about to explain it? All right.
Yeah,
All right.
bigger continent,
Okay.
massively bigger continent.
hmm
Your like Europe Crusades, Black Plague, Dark Ages, Roman Empire. It didn't matter
Mm.
what it was. They were always in some massive scale conflict for as long as they've fucking been alive.
Mm.
war
In
is their
like
blood.
yeah, in Africa, there was enough space.
Niggas
Like
had the entire plains to just not care about a nigga.
it's one of the biggest continents in the world. There was just enough room and enough other problems, aka other animals,
That makes sense.
that
Yeah, there's
really,
a mediator.
yeah, it really mitigated conflict. There was saying there was not
Mm.
conflict,
Yeah,
but
because major
like,
empires.
yeah, like empires existed. Plenty of fucking empires existed in Africa.
Yep.
Pre fucking
Rise and fall.
yeah. Like, but it's like I'm not gonna like say like harmonious, but it definitely wasn't no fucking
It was more
European
spaced
shit.
out. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're definitely
So
right. It was
s-
definitely.
so
Yeah.
when you have like Europeans come over, they're just they're on G'd, bro. They're D'd. Like they're just coming over just guns
Just to
blazing.
start shit.
And it's just like and now we're dead because we thought that niggas just did not like this didn't exist. Like there's
Mm.
no there's no way people come with this much smoke. And they did. In the name of God. Like, come on, man. Like
In the name of God,
in the name of Jesus. Like,
conquered through bullets, conquered through the religion.
also, there we go. Good point, Marvin.
Yeah,
Rifling,
Mm.
ballistics, because but not beating us in no hand to hand combat. But
no,
had the fucking tech, had the fucking
Mm.
one shot,
yeah,
and spammed the one shot. Like
Yeah.
Asia kind of got hit with the same thing. But
which is crazy because they're the reason why guns
why it
existed.
exists in the first
Yeah.
place?
The dynamite. And all that
Dumbass
The
boy.
too.
gunpowder,
Dumbass boy, bro.
but
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't know. I think that's a crazy
Change
part,
civs.
right? I
Mm.
think that's a crazy part when you look in the context of the global world, right? You look at
Mm.
you look at each continent, and then you look at Europe. Europe's whole culture revolves around war. And if you and no one does it like them.
Seriously,
To be honest, let's be honest here. No one does it like them. Everything about their cultures, everything about their history has been shaped by some sort of conflict.
They said we were born to smoke.
Yeah, they were. You know, for a long time they were beefing with each other, and all those years beefing with each other has enabled them to be like be better than everyone else. You know.
Competition. Driving up the competition.
Mhm.
Competitive. Yeah.
Like it's sad, you know, but that's the way it was. You know.
Mm.
ballistics came into existence, and they were just like, nice. Now we're God.
Mm.
Like, and now everybody gets to smoke.
Literally. It's either adapt or you just get hoed for
and
free.
and unfortunately they had no choice but get hold for free
Yep.
because they didn't have the means to make their own fucking guns, and then whatever guns they did have came from them. So really,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it was it wasn't looking bright.
Like, and you know what? Just to like, just to throw a Molotov cocktail in this. So let's just talk about the R word. R word. You know what's coming.
Reagan.
Nope.
Hold on.
Reparations.
Reparation. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I'm slow. I'm slow.
Let's talk about
I
the
was
R
saying
word.
trickle down economics.
Like,
uh,
I mean, like, I was kind of alluding to it. Talking about like
you,
at
you,
what,
you
talking
were.
about like at what, at what point, like at at what point is it a no for reparations?
Mm,
Because that's what he was trying to figure out. Like, and
mm,
who, right?
mm,
Because I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, I'm Caribbean,
Yeah,
mm.
right? Dominican and Jamaican. I don't have ancestors on this continent.
me neither. I'm Dominican, fully.
Know what I mean? So like, I'm just
Mm.
like I
Yeah, we got
gotta.
boy Richard who's
Haitian.
Haitian. Yeah.
Know what I mean? Like, gotta talk to, gotta talk to Mbappe. Gotta talk to the French.
I guess yeah. I gotta go through
Like,
Spain. I don't want to talk about DR, bro.
you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
you know, you gotta like,
You have to
you
get it
gotta
from the source,
exactly. I'm just like, gotta hone in on the
from
source,
Europe.
because England got a lot
Yeah.
to pay up in Jamaica. Pay the
Hmm.
fuck up. But like, at what point?
They got the whole Great Pirate era to make up for.
At what point did you miss the time hacks? Like, at what point did you miss the time window
To
when
give
like
it back.
That's a
certain
good
niggas are
point.
dead too long?
That's
Mm.
a
At what
good
point?
point. That's a good
Like,
point.
you got to really ask that question. Okay, well, at what point or have niggas
Mm.
been dead too long?
They've been stalling for a long time, so
Right. And
although
if their kin are benefiting from it, like, at
They
what
are.
point are they not murked?
mm,
like,
I would
They,
say, you know what? Like, okay, so also my question is like, on what scale would reparations be actually carried out?
you know what I'm
My
saying?
question is like,
I don't even know.
even if the green light was given, what would that look like? Like, what on what scale would it be? The 40 acres and a mule? Would it be?
I'd like that.
Um,
Give me the mule too.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Let's
you know,
protect.
A piano,
I'm
a guitar.
I'm not gonna hold you. Sometimes every time we talk, people talk about reparations, I'd be a little nervous because every time when black people in America try to get reparations, like they take that shit right back. Remember that time at
Mm,
some point after like slavery ended, like they gave some of the southern slaves like land, and
mm,
an old boy was like, oh, this is wrong. God wouldn't want this, and then he came right the fuck back to take that shit back, and whatever. Uh,
Yep.
mm.
if only I remember the specifics so I can really tell it better. But yeah, I think that's the one thing I'm nervous about for Black Americans, because
Feeling
it
guilty about it?
because if they can do that and then turn around and take it all back. Uh, how is this time gonna be any different?
It's kind of like, you know what? If the student loan forgiveness is reparations, I will accept it. I'll accept that.
Yeah, reparations for students, not just black students, not
But they
just
need
black
to,
people.
but they need to bounce some of that to black people as well. Like, just be like, hey, all students, not just students right now, because some people still paying off student loans from like parents' generation.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure either. But now that Caleb brought up about, the fact that we're Caribbean, me, him, and Richard, that kind of brings up a
Mm,
thing I want to talk about, which is unity in the black diaspora, because we don't got that. And, I feel like a lot of, my niggas here in the U.S., whose family been in the U.S. for a long time, are trying to undertake a big goal
mm,
on trying to unite people who are all black,
mm,
especially with they treat like the word black and the as ethnic term as a sort of umbrella term. And I know people don't feel the same way at all, and I'm saying that because as a Dominican, growing up, have to like let go of some shit because my family indoctrinated me. Well, I don't want to say indoctrinate me because that's too strong of a word. I'm gonna just say
That is a really strong word.
that's a really strong word.
That
Uh,
sounds like a cult.
I know, but okay. It, Dominicans are offensive when you call them black. For whatever reason, I feel like it's part of it. Part of it is because they don't want to be associated with Black Americans, which is like a lot of cultures, to be honest. But
Mm.
from my experience with it, it's like people don't feel blackness the same way as like Black Americans do.
That's
Like Dominican
That
people, or you
that
mean like
any
just
culture that has a sizable Black population just don't feel blackness in that same way as Black Americans.
oh,
In
okay.
my
even
experience.
I see.
yeah, even like Native Africans.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
even Native Africans. And Chooks is right. By the way, everyone, we got some homies who are muted because they letting us talk.
Oh
Chook,
shit.
Chooks in our chat.
Mm.
Shout out to Chooks. He's saying unity is important, to be honest, and I think that contributes to some
Yeah,
of
I
the
was
issues
about
we
to
have
say, Chooks,
today.
you want to come off mute for a second,
Yeah,
because
bro, speak your mind,
the
brother.
boys
Yeah.
at home.
Because you're African, your
Ah,
family's from the
Yeah.
motherland, so
No, for sure.
we need that Nigerian bass.
Cause like what I'll say is like I think a lot of us we just tend to separate ourselves for no reason, for no real reason. Like we'll try to say, "Oh, I'm not black, my family's from here," or "I'm not like American black or whatever," or "I'm
Mm.
ADOS, African descendant of slaves or whatever." We try to separate ourselves, but
Mm.
honestly and truly at the end of the day, like yes, we have cultural differences, but when white people look at us, they're not like, "Oh yeah, this person's ADOS." No, they're looking at you and they're like, "Yeah, you're black."
All right.
So
yeah,
like all
Damn
this
monkey.
division, like I guess on a culture aspect it probably would make sense, but realistically if you're trying to like separate yourself in front of other
Mm.
people, you're looking like an idiot. Like even with white people we do it like we call all white people white. Like they
yeah,
might
we
be
do.
Mm.
from like let's say the Ukraine war for example.
Yeah,
Really like it's just white people fighting each other for the most
Yep.
part.
yeah,
But
Yes, sir.
but to them they're probably like, nah, these people are from Ukraine, these people are from Russia, et cetera, et
mhm.
cetera. So it's just like, but at the end of the day, people don't see it like that for the most part. People just see it as like, oh yeah, these people are just white people fighting.
I
So I
think that's
think if
a
we just stop, like, because I would
Mm.
say it's not, for me, it's not as prevalent, but I still do see it. Like, people try to separate based
Mm.
off of like,
mhm.
oh,
Yeah,
well, I'm black, but my family's from here, or I'm this, I'm that. I think if we
Try to not
spend less
claim
time on
blackness.
that, then I think we could get a lot more done.
yeah. Now that
Mm.
you bring that up, I think that's also
That's
part
a
of
good
the
point.
issue with like the
That is
experience
a
of
good point.
blackness. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a Jukes brought up a good point. Like, I think America like uniquely has a habit of just like grouping people up a certain way, whereas like the rest of the world really do like care a lot about like their national identities. Like they're not
I
just
guess
gonna.
I can
Yeah.
I can speak to that in a way that for America, I feel like it makes a lot of sense given the way that America came about and the way
Mhm.
that it carries itself now to have this kind of like mm, grouping of people because
Because we're a
it's
melting
kind of
pot.
like separate country. Yeah, it's kind of like as if there were separate countries combined into one country, which
Yeah.
in essence it is. But like, so I can understand why that kind of like comes about. Not saying I completely agree with it, but I understand why it's there for sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, other countries just don't have that set up because this is not their foundations, right?
Yeah, because they
Even
all look around, they're just like, yeah, we're all from the same place, or for the most part.
hmm even England, even though England's becoming like a much more like melting pot of a place within the past several decades, I'm pretty
Mm,
sure most people still gonna separate themselves as like I'm
man's not
I'm
hot.
I'm British. I'm not.
Man's can't never
Yeah.
be hot.
I'm not just what I'm
And
British.
like I think with unity, like I feel like
It's abstract.
that it alludes to financial unity.
Yeah.
Like
Mm,
I think that's like something that's really big. I think that's what Chooch was kind of alluding to,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
financial unity, like where it's just like no matter where you're from in the black diaspora, it's like we got your back financially, which is what a lot
Yes.
of
That'd be
fucking
the
other
great
race,
part.
which is what a lot of fucking other races have and we don't have, and that shit's kind of clutch.
That's
So
Yes.
this is
whereas,
that's what I was gonna say. One
What?
thing, and anybody listening, don't take me out of context. But when
Yeah.
Kanye was talking about the Jewish people getting together and taking shit because they got the
I'm just
money, he
saying,
was spitting.
Yeah. He's
He
not
was
wrong.
spitting. They would
I'm just
collaborate.
saying,
Yeah. We.
they
No, it
will,
was me and you who
they
was
will
talking about
clutch
this
up.
game.
Hey,
We
Yeah,
were talking
Zero.
about that.
yeah, we were. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
but
Don't
no,
that
that's 100%
don't take
true.
me out
Like,
of context.
yeah, if you look at the you can't they can't dispute that though. Like, if you look at the
Exactly.
entertainment community, right? Hollywood and everything, I think people get upset when people say Jews run it, but like they kind of do, and they have for like a very long time.
But
But it's
bro,
Mhm.
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just that though. But how that works is that like they put their friends in power, right? Like they help their friends out,
Nepotism.
like you were
Yeah.
saying.
Nepotism.
And
OP.
like that's just is what it is. You can't really get mad at that. I mean, we will all
Yeah.
do the same. I'm sure. Like
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
any of us had like a super successful business. We
I'm
will probably
saying,
Yeah.
hire
Oh,
our
for
day
sure.
ones or people who we know will have our back.
Anytime I go anywhere, I always put a
like
nigga right next.
they just found a way for all their homies to become day ones. Like they
Mm-hmm.
found a way. There's like you're a day one, so you're just
Yeah.
going to get you're gonna be a beneficiary, even if it's like a distant beneficiary.
Now, what
You're still a
Kanye is
beneficiary.
experiencing, right, is that like
Oh,
a lot of those people are friends with each other. So a lot of people who he fought with or like who don't like him are friends with like other people in like very high up positions, right? So
Yeah.
he's
mm-hmm.
kind of taking that and blaming it on all Jews, which is
This
just
is
the case.
bad.
Just like yeah, that's not
Bad optics.
yeah, that's not
That's
it's not the
bad.
truth
Yo,
at all. You
Like,
Nah.
fuck with the very few like Jews that are in like very high up positions who are all friends with each other. So they're
yeah.
collectively not fucking with
But
you.
you know what's crazy though? If
What?
black people actually unified, we could be as powerful as the Jews. Probably even more powerful. Slick.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Our spending
Yeah.
power is literally in the billions. It's
Literally,
just
there's an entire
where do
like
you spend?
niggas trying to market us or not market for us for sure.
And it's
Yeah,
crazy. Oh, before I continue, remember, just to repeat what Hakeem said, don't take our words out of context. We do not condone anti-Semitism or anything or any bad prejudices.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain truths, and Kanye spoke a truth, but in a very bad way. um,
Mm-hmm.
horrible optics.
He spun it
horrible.
way too hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't even need all that.
he
Horrible
did.
optics.
A lot of what he said, he didn't need to say it, and that's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, like it's a crazy thing, right? Because I always see people always moaning and talk about, oh, where would the world be without black people? Because honestly, people love the shit we do, and
Yep.
we're
Yeah.
the reason why a lot of shit exists. The Super Soaker, video games,
Like gaming culture is
music,
like
yeah.
it's so deeply intertwined with black culture. It's crazy.
And then some of us want to
Right down to the
act weird
marketing.
about it, and people
Yeah.
want to act weird about it. And like let's see what else. Music,
Yeah,
that's
the
a big
music
one.
is kind of the music industry and like the black culture. I don't know. This is one
Yeah.
thing I'll have to say is kind of insane how like the most popular music right now directly takes from like black culture. Like I'm talking about K-pop, right?
Yeah,
But
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so many
Yeah,
is
spit.
it directly.
yeah.
Hey yo, we about to get canceled.
Not
But
even
they don't.
spelled.
This gotta be the second time we come after
But
the
they don't
K-pop.
like black people. I
The
don't get
I
same.
it,
don't, I
bro.
don't, I
That's
don't
It's
not true.
understand.
That's not true.
crazy, bro.
That's not
That's,
true.
I,
Nah,
Nah,
shit. Nah,
I
nah.
No,
agree
no,
with
not
Zero.
all of
That's
not all
that's
of them, but like
no.
no,
I'm gonna have to
not
That's
not
agree with
all
that's
of
the
Zero.
them,
That is
vibe.
obviously,
trash.
That's
right? But
the
like,
that's the
No,
hey,
vibe.
but no, but like
no.
black
It's a
people
good
They
are
amount of
do.
them
it's
I
that do
know.
not
that
like.
don't like black. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, but there's also a good amount of Korean people. I know there's a lot of Korean people that do actually admire black people too.
yeah,
Like,
Can I
yeah.
go and
The
be a
younger
senator?
the
Can I
younger
go and be a
generation,
senator in Korea?
huh?
Can I
the
go and be
younger
a senator in
generation for
Korea?
okay,
sure.
hold
But
on.
I
like
don't know.
that's like denying over here that like there's not a lot of like racist Southern people just because how
Oh,
they grew
there
up.
are for
Yeah,
sure.
but that's how it is over there. That's just how they were raised. But it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy how they love them. Hey man, it's crazy how they
Right.
love the music culture, but hate the. Hey, that's all I had to say. That's
Yeah, thank you, Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. That's a
Hate
whole
us,
bag of
but
words.
yeah, no, for sure.
Remember, folks, this won't be the last time we talk our shit about the K-pop industry.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This will not be the last time.
Yeah,
As
don't
someone who
worry.
loves
Stand
K-pop,
by.
ABGs, man, do better.
In fact, it isn't even the first time. There has been many times I think in these episodes that we've talked our shit about K-pop
Mhm.
because of this. Uh, Pretty
Can we talk
unfortunate.
about you know what? Never mind. I'm not even I'm not even gonna bring that up right now. That's a topic for another day.
Let's see. Maybe, yeah. Uh,
Oh,
but fuck it, yeah. It's hard, because there's a lot of factors you gotta think about. Because especially
mm,
when in this society, that's I echo back to my days of learning sociology.
mm,
Economic capital is the most important capital out of all three types of capital.
mm,
Because it's the first thing you think about when you hear the word capital. Money brings you everything, and I want people to try again. Like I want the black community to try again after Tulsa. Like Tulsa was like the blueprint of what could have been,
Yeah.
but we got ruined because of those damn racists and whatever
Talking
other
about Black
fact.
Wall Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it. We almost had millionaires there.
It's coming back.
But
yeah,
Legends
but
say.
for like not gonna lie, we gotta really deal with the fucking modern slavery known as the fucking like hip hop industry.
yeah.
Like
Mm,
I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Yeah, I don't care how much I love that music. I know what's happening.
mm,
Like we these contracts that these kids are getting into the hip hop
Bad.
industry. Like
selling their soul for a little bit.
it's literally modern slavery. Like
Mm,
and like I'll go like I'll go further and say like 90s black culture and forward just kind of felt like a setup.
a
Uh,
setup. What do you
Yep.
mean?
And what I mean by that is that if if any aspect if aspects of that culture was actually beneficial, we would have been clapped.
yeah.
You mean like
We would
you
have been
mean
stopped.
like like
There's a reason why we're pretty
Yeah.
much allowed to just kill each other rent free.
wait, you're talking
No.
about benefits to hood culture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if there were benefits.
My
I
yeah,
mean,
my
arguably there
apologies.
are, but like
Yeah. But like
arguably
Is
there
there?
are.
Is there?
argue
Yeah,
yeah.
the hip hop part. That's
But
one.
like
Uh huh.
let's talk about gang culture though.
That's
That's
not
awful.
beneficial.
That's no, it's not. It
But it's
hasn't
hard
been.
it's hard but it's hard to say they're not intertwined.
I would say they're
A
intertwined.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
would say
It's
like the whole
TK and
hip
all them.
hop culture and a lot of like the hood culture slash gang culture is intertwined into like American black culture in general.
Hmm.
I
And it
would
doesn't
say
even
it's
have to be like
I
it
mean,
doesn't,
if
but
we're
but
it
it's
being,
just
is.
heavily
people choose to
promoted.
be. Yeah, people choose to be a lot more now. The
I mean,
younger generation.
and what am I supposed to say to that too? Because it's like it's what they grew up with, and not only that, but
No, it's not. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, well, I mean, for some people,
for
obviously,
some,
but
yeah.
like, there's a lot of people, like a lot of the younger generation that want to get into it that
That's true.
don't even
Yes,
really have to be a
yes,
part
that's
of it.
true.
That's right.
No, no, but like you guys said, it's intertwined too much so,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
and I might even argue that where would hip hop be without like hood culture? Because like
It wouldn't.
it wouldn't exist because too much of it is defined by these niggas and these hardships when it first started.
Hmm.
Going from like the back in the days, like in the late '70s, early '80s, where niggas were just like doing like samples and doing some DJing shit at
Hmm.
random places around the Bronx,
You
up
know
until
what?
they started like
Oh,
really
sorry.
getting
Go
into it.
ahead.
And I
Yeah.
don't know. It's hard to convince me
Mm.
that like at this point in my life, it's hard to convince me that key elements like of that culture can lead black people to economic prosperity. I don't fucking see it.
Actually, yes, there is, and it's gonna come. This is gonna be a gomu gomu, but you know how I am.
Gomu gomu, huh? Interesting
Okay,
term.
right.
Explain what you mean
So
by that first.
the black entrepreneurial spirit that comes from drug dealing.
Oh fuck.
Uh, that's what you meant by Gomu Gomu, because that definitely is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is a core beneficial part. that could carry us to
The
prosperity, and
hustle
it
Wait,
already
culture,
what did you
baby.
say, King?
has.
Wait, what did King say?
I
Hakeem.
said,
I'll reiterate. I'll repeat. I
Please.
said, Caleb. What Caleb said initially was, "You're not about to convince me that any key element of hood culture could carry us into prosperity." And I said, I beg to differ. Uh, that the core element of black entrepreneurialism that stemmed from drug dealing, that came from hood culture, is a very core element that can carry us into prosperity, and to some degree, already has.
Uh,
All right, all
That's
right.
that's high.
Here I go. Nah, here I go. So let's see. One, hard to do that when you're dead. Number two,
Hundred
right?
percent.
Death is a really like it's a killing machine.
Mm,
Like that's where I meant with the key element of like hood culture is that
yeah,
it's an engine of tragedy,
I'm
literally.
I'm
Like
speaking
I'm like
about it purely from a conceptual standpoint, a core element.
yeah,
Not we just change what's being sold and
I
how
get what
they're
you're trying
selling
to say.
I
I get what
it.
you're
I know
trying to say.
And
It's
it's
I know what
just,
you mean.
it's
now,
not
now,
This is
connected.
now, brother
It's
King,
just
what's
not
your
connected.
LLC, brother?
this my gomu no.
I
You already
understand,
know how I am.
but
I get what
you
you're
know
saying, but
I'm like I'm just like
Hmm.
kinda being set up just to like take L's and die for the
I mean,
longest time.
I'll
yeah.
say
And
I'll
that's
say this.
If you,
I'll say
mm,
this. I guess what Keem is trying to say, to put in better words, like the
yeah,
hustler mindset
Yeah,
that's
mm,
being promoted in the hood culture can actually be used for
absolutely.
better economic purposes.
hey,
and it already has been to a certain degree.
just to quote some Hotep memes. What's your LLC, my brother?
Which one?
Good
Good
question.
answer. Good answer. Good answer. Well, I'm too busy trying to be the
Like
Negro of culture, or by culture I mean the arts.
I'll actually I'll for once I'll grab some of what fucking Dr. Umar said because
What
he's
he
not
said.
always wrong, unfortunately.
No, he's not. No, he's
Like
not.
Not
he's not
always,
always
but
wrong.
I can't get with him on that
Yeah.
interracial dating thing. That's
That
Yeah.
one
shit
thing.
that shit
That's a
is kind of
miss.
cat. But like
I
when
love
he
me some
talked
Hispanic
about
race,
I
bro.
mean, he caps a lot, to be
yeah,
honest.
when he talked about black communities kind of getting the core civilization functions under like under us was very important. Motherfucking
You mean
food,
like solid
water,
units?
food, water, sanitation, housing, electricity,
Mm,
like key aspects of civilization in the
Hmm.
21st century. Like
mm,
if you don't run that like self sufficiently within your own like sphere, within your own like race and culture, all you're
You're
gonna do is
fucked.
just be like getting drained by everybody else, and that's facts.
Yeah,
Like
mm-hmm.
I hate like I was like
100%.
I was I was like that's facts. I was like
yeah,
if you can't run your own shit, forget about everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So the materialistic side of like hood culture, or at least let's just say go as far to say like Black American culture nowadays is very materialistic, and that's really like
Yes.
preventing. That's single handedly preventing wealth, right?
Consumerism is like killing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
killing wealth building.
yeah,
it is because like if you know economics, those are poles. Like those are going in two separate direction: consumerism and wealth. Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you have to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really do. And like we're not really choosing like
Wisely.
wealth, all right?
Mm.
And that's like the stem of like a lot of our fucking shit that we don't have a we keep co-opting basic needs of our fucking people to like other races and people.
Yeah,
Let's just be real. So it's like you got plumbers, you got electricians, you got like sanitation workers. Are they under you? Are they for your community? Things like that. Things that people kind of
Yeah,
overlook or just like not with us. And like,
we
and
definitely
yeah,
got
that's
we definitely got a transportation industry set up. I'll tell you what.
oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Elaborate.
the black roots run deep in the transportation industry. You'll be hard pressed to come across any place that anybody is delivering anything without seeing at least 25 black people per unit.
Yeah.
This is true.
And
It's true.
everyone in the warehouse.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
true.
Hard pressed.
Are they the CEO?
Nope.
Yeah.
They'll probably be close to CEO, but they won't be CEO.
We
You
need to
got
be
me.
CEOs.
It's very few
Got
that are
me. I'm one.
CEOs.
We're
So
gonna have to be CEOs.
I think
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
another. I think that's another issue we need to
hey, you
that
at
needs to
least got
talk
me.
about. True. I think that might be another thing we need to talk about. The rich blacks.
Mm.
How much of them are really for us? Because
They're not
sometimes,
for us.
yeah. Because I think that's my,
Thank you, Troops.
yeah.
High key.
They're really not. Because sometimes once
That's
niggas
for
get
real.
that bag, they
They
change up.
gone.
They leave. They
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
give.
I don't know. Some people give back. I know. So I know a lot of people who give back. I know a lot of.
I do
Eh,
too.
Yeah.
I
I
might have to, I might have to hop on this one too. No, they're spitting. Some people give back, but like nah, not nearly, not
Not
nearly.
They don't
nearly.
give
It
back
is
as
yeah.
it's
much as
crazy.
they
If
can.
you
because you don't
bring
live
up the
in Atlanta.
numbers,
That's because you don't
if
live in Atlanta. In Atlanta,
not
it's
No,
a
no,
black,
no. Even
black, black.
then, no.
Like you
no,
see,
I'm gonna say
even
this. I'm gonna
compared
say
to
this.
about, I don't think people really realize how much of like the sports world in America we actually
oh, the
dominate.
sports world.
Well,
Yeah.
sports world, music world, and then like if you want to even talk about like Atlanta,
Mm.
niggas don't realize how like Atlanta should be. Oh, this is gonna be sound crazy. I don't really think there should probably be like any like black people in the slums anywhere in Georgia with the model. It was just like what
I
Atlanta
mean,
is, right?
Is
well, it's
yeah.
It's
coming
like
up, but it's like it's a process, honestly, because it's like there's so much stuff that's coming up every day that's
Yeah.
like it's crazy because like honestly like when you see people build it and you see it and it's like the black wealth too, you can see like Tyler Perry's studios expanding. I was just up there the
Fucking
other day
Tyler
when I was
Perry.
filming. Yeah, the other week, with Tyler Perry Studios expanding and all that, and there's like just a bunch of stuff that's coming up, like in with black people in Atlanta giving back like towards respective industries.
yeah, I hope so. But like once you
Mm,
look into perspective of like the black music industry, especially somewhere in like
mm,
Atlanta, right? And then you look at like the combined total of like the black like business complex in terms of like sports, it is insane.
Yeah.
right.
We are bar none the leader in like sports and music in this
Yeah.
country,
We,
right?
we really
Mm.
are.
But it
But
don't
we don't
reflect
own it.
that.
But we're
We
not
It
don't
in
don't
own a lot.
reflect
charge.
that. It don't
We don't
reflect
own
that
a
at
lot.
all.
For
No.
sports,
No.
I beg to differ. For music, we own a lot more than we do for
Well,
sports.
not for owner, but like revenue generation. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
revenue
Oh, okay.
generation.
You
We
mean
we're
like being
completely
the engine?
yeah, we're
Oh, for
completely
sure.
dominant in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But the problem with the sports industry is
Behind
we
the
don't own any
scenes.
of the shit that we're driving. But for the
Yeah.
music, we do.
But here's the thing too. A lot of these athletes that are in like a lot of these sports that they play, if they just pulled their money together, they could at least eventually own a lot of these teams and stuff. I think the problem is as a lot of as the black people, especially as black like
Yeah.
men, like we have a way of like doing we want to do everything on our own. We don't want to like get help from one another or we don't want to help one another. We have a
That
mindset of
pride,
we got to do it on our own
sometimes
and
that
we
pride
can't
just
do it
gets
on
in the way.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
can't.
I definitely been a
It takes a
victim of that.
village.
So yeah, definitely.
I do think that plays a factor too. Even like when people make it, like they might be in office or they might like make it big as an artist,
Mm,
athlete, whatever. A lot of them are reluctant to like actually help or work with other people because they're like, damn, this dude gonna catch up to me, or this dude might become bigger than me. And people, they
mm,
don't want that person to become bigger than them, so they just end up essentially hoeing the person they're supposed to be working with.
mm.
So they'll
Self
be somewhat
sabotage.
successful, but they're not gonna be as big as said person. It's a
Mm.
weird dynamic.
Hmm.
Yeah, niggas really created an environment where you can't even trust the niggas you trying to help because if you do, then they'll switch
And
up
it's
on you.
really unfortunate when you see like some of the older generation doing it too. It's like they're looking at the young guys that are out here like doing big stuff, and then they're like kind of like, oh, these young guys shouldn't be out here doing all this big shit like this. They should be struggling like I did.
Oh, for sure. A lot of these old, I'm gonna keep it a buck.
That shit
I'm gonna keep it a
crazy.
buck. A lot of the old dudes, they be the biggest haters, bro. They
For
the
real,
biggest
bro.
haters.
Like, bro,
That
why?
shit's
That's true.
crazy.
That is crazy because, bro, you set this up, bro.
Hey,
I thought
I
this is
thought
what you
this was
wanted.
your plan. I thought you wanted it to be easier.
Nah, I don't like it. I don't like seeing y'all happy.
Like, why should I be in the fields? Like, I thought you were trying to help, so I was not gonna have to be.
Nah, you's too soft.
You want this shit to be New Game Plus.
Exactly.
Like, the fuck? You want the New Game Plus with me? No.
Right.
No, nigga. The fuck?
Like, I thought this was by design. What happened?
What happened was they don't like the fact that they don't see no blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And now they're bitter about it. I'm like, bro, I'm grateful as foundation they are.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, more hot takes for me.
Yeah.
Got more.
Yeah?
What's up?
Got more?
I'm not done.
So,
White people getting played too.
how so?
Huh? Yeah, that's
Because
true.
they're getting
Indeed.
played financially the same way that like black people are.
By
Only
black people or
exception
by
is
themselves?
no by themselves, literally.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Mhm.
you literally have like white billionaires that are not giving back to them either.
No,
Mhm.
Here's
they don't.
here's the thing though, right?
Mhm.
This is where race plays into the fact.
Mm-hmm.
It is
They do it
literally
on
enough for
race.
them.
They
It's
do it on
literally
color.
enough.
Ex-
It's enough
yeah.
to just be adjacent. That's it. It's
Exactly.
adjacency. Adjacency to power is not
Mhm.
power, by the way. But
Yeah.
adjacency for people and communities is enough. Like
Mhm.
they're just like, so we're getting played. However, at least we
That
not
guy's
them.
white.
Like at least we not them.
Yeah.
And that's
You know,
enough.
I know it's
Because
And
crazy.
a lot of the struggle that we go through, I will say, like, other races go through it too, especially white people. They get
yeah,
affected by it, but
Yeah, they
it's
don't see
just
it.
they don't get hit as hard as we do. That's the
right.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially anything economic wise that hurts black, it's gonna hurt black people first before it hurts anybody else.
Yeah, because the ones in power gotta
The consuming.
maintain their help. You know, they can't. Gotta maintain that loyalty. It happens all the time in history, every single time.
What?
Like I think like that's a big problem too, right? With that kind of mentality, because we could have been get shit handled if we work together between the blacks and
Mm.
the whites, but they always make sure to turn us against one another.
Mm.
It's been a habit throughout history. It's a bit sad.
Yeah. Divide and conquer.
It's like you see
Divide and conquer.
gentrification, right?
Mhm.
And it's not even hooping. And what I mean by that is like like it's not even fundamentally hooping for any party involved except the main beneficiary, which is the businesses that create it. Even the people that move to these like inner cities and then just
Mm.
create the engine for gentrification, which is their existence.
Mm.
Uh, like
Yeah,
even if they're there, like you're paying 4K a month for a fucking closet,
I
like,
know.
and like you're not mad about that.
And that's
That,
So
fucked. That's
that's
fucked.
alarming.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
you're struggling and you're not mad about
You
Mm.
it.
know,
And
it's worse.
Some niggas like that closet, bro. They be some nice
And
closets.
it gets me upset. It gets me upset, Hakeem, because it
Mm.
should be me living in that closet for 200 a month. That shouldn't.
like
That closet shouldn't exist for 4K. Them niggas are just putting up with it because they get to be in Manhattan.
like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's like white. Like they I'm sorry.
If it's not people who move
It-
there willingly
like
struggling, it's people whose family got money, so they pay for the rent anyway, so they don't gotta do shit to pay rent.
Mm.
That sounds about right.
Honestly, Marvin, sometimes not even their parents. They just pull up because just happy to be here. Type
Yeah,
shit.
oh my
You
god.
know what I'm saying?
It's
Yuppie
teen
just
life.
happy to be here.
Now
It's
Even
teen
worse.
life. Yeah. Put it on Instagram.
You're
Do
right.
it up, do it for the gram. It's all for
do
the
it for
gram.
it's all for the fucking. And you know what? I'm gonna stay quiet because I live with my folks, so I'm good. But doesn't mean I like it.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a
It's not
bad
a
thing.
bad thing.
It's
And
not a
in
bad
fact,
thing
I
at
don't
all.
even know why that's not even endorsed.
I mean,
It's not
it's
endorsed because
endorsed
we
for
keep
some
bullying
families,
people.
but
We don't endorse it because we keep bullying people thinking it's stupid and weak or some
yeah,
shit.
When
we
it's
do
really
bully people
self-sufficient.
about it.
It's weird because it's like
Every other country does it. Every other
It's
country's
the
cool
most.
with people
It's
living
the
with their
most.
families.
It's
I'm
like top
saying
10 most self-sufficient.
I'd say yeah, it's weird because like for like the generation when we look at like the generation or the what's the statistic of percentage, there's the word percentage of our generation that actually live at home. It's crazy because it's like it's actually so many. I think it was like something like 47% or something of Gen Z or something millennials, Gen Z or something. It was something like that. You know, our generation. It was like 47% or something like that were living at home pre 28 up
Yeah.
until like then. So it's like it shouldn't be that crazy. It shouldn't be seen as that crazy.
Fucking, we got niggas in other countries living in their parents' homes until they're like 40. I think I should be able to live in my parents' home without people giving me weird looks. At least
Sometimes, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, I should be okay with living with them until like I got the cash to just be on my own, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if the house is owned, sometimes like you'll just stay in that house like forever. Like that's like a family house. You got multiple generations under one house.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even necessarily have to move out. I think it's just a culture thing. Like you have some people raised to where by the time you're 18, you got to get the fuck out, get your own
Yeah,
place, all that stuff. I think it's just that culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah,
what
I
happens
agree.
is too, people get made fun of it because you probably might be raised, oh, when you're 18, you got to move out into an apartment, get a job, all that
Mhm.
stuff. But another person is raised, oh, you move out when you're ready, or you move out when you have sufficient funds to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And it just creates a lot of back and forth.
And some people may just want to, just
Exactly.
I
have that space to
Just
yourself.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind and that's me for personal reasons, but yeah,
Uh,
I'm not
I
gonna,
feel
but I'm not gonna get too deep into it because that's not the conversation.
that. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one thing. Now, how do we relate this back to Hoteps?
Hoteps,
Oh
Hoteps
yeah.
not giving us the wisdom to actually maneuver through this
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit. That's
Well said. Well said.
well said.
Well
They
said, Chief.
didn't say shit.
Like
That's crazy.
literally just clout chase because
Fanatically.
it's like they understand the issues just as much as we do,
Mm-hmm.
but like their
Did
approach
it?
is like I want to step and leech from the situation as much as possible and lead people straight to my fucking PayPal. Like I'm not
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
don't
like
forget,
Take off
donate to
the
me
clout
on
chain,
Cash
take
App.
off the foo-foo.
Donate to my
yeah,
Cash App. Support our brothers LLC, please. My brother,
like
my sister, my
Now,
literally
queens
there
and
ain't nothing
kings.
wrong with a little bit of. There ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of marketing.
Hey, you know what? You know
But
what they could do for
when
me
that,
though?
but what?
How about they start a Patreon or a Kickstarter? They want me to do shit.
you know what I'm
No,
saying?
that's not
Some
a
of
bad,
them do. Some of them do have
bad
Patreon.
idea.
And
Let me see the
that
content.
I'm fine with. That I'm fine with. But it's like
Take off the foo-foo. Take off the clout chase. Take off the Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
exactly. In a nutshell. It's
Oh man.
like
Thank you
like
for that
what?
message.
No
Like
problem.
You can also
like
donate to me on
oh
E5
my
Tunde
god.
Johnson.
Uh,
Literally.
Y'all trying to get some foo-foo?
I
No, I
actually,
have
I,
I had fufu yesterday. I'm good.
I need to try
Oh,
fufu, bro. I need to try that real West African shit, bro.
It's good. It's
Like
good.
I believe you.
let's drop all this wisdom just to
mm,
further take advantage of like to not drop solution.
mm.
Let's just use words we just learned the other day and just string
Thank
them
you.
together into a sentence and get people into thinking we know what we're talking about, but we don't.
Because
Dang, that
I
sound like
am.
T.I.
Like,
I'm like, I hate
I
Ti.
see.
I hate Ti whenever he speaks, bro. Fucking phony ass
King of the South.
encyclopedia ass nigga.
TIP, that's the king of the South.
Hey, the king of South, my
That's
ass.
on tip. That's
My
on tip.
foot, my foot.
That's on tip.
Hey, well he can. He, well, he can
It
suck.
means nothing, Richard.
It means nothing. Like Tia's fucking vernacular.
Richard's dying.
Let's tip. If he don't get his spelling bee vernacular ass away from
That's on
me.
tip. Harris. What's up, Jordan?
Hey Jay, welcome to the live stream. You're a bit late, buddy. You want to give us your take on the Hoteps and the Black Israelites and all others?
That was
Yeah, I
vulgar.
was just thinking.
Yeah, since you want to come in here randomly.
Come on, my brother.
Oh wait,
Where's
hold on.
where's your LLC,
So
brother?
what's with all those people in like the free Pakistan shit?
Free
Well,
F- that's a good question. I'm not up to date on that.
Free Blackistan.
Well,
You said with the free Pakistan shit?
Yeah.
Oh, Israel and Pakistan been beefing for a long time, basically.
I
Very
thought it was
disputed
Palestine.
territory.
I thought it was Palestine too.
like I think,
Mm.
like I think you meant Palestine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palestine, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's,
that's
yeah,
off
that's what I
topic.
told me. That's what I told me. But
Okay.
Yeah, you
they've
know
been beefing for
Jerusalem,
a while.
baby.
Mm.
That area is like
Holy land.
very contested about who
Oh yeah,
owns
for
it,
sure.
right? But like, it's
Shout
been
out to
fuck
Gaza
shit
Strip.
kind of on like both sides. But like, people don't like that. But it's definitely been fuck shit on both sides. Both sides have definitely killed like civilians and shit like that. But keeping it a buck, niggas don't want to hear this. Keeping it a buck though,
Mm.
Israel
Israel might
Yes.
be
they
worse.
kind of been on some fuck shit, and
There
this
you
is
go.
never hot take,
Yeah.
but we kind of been helping these niggas. Hey,
Yeah, we have. We
Hey,
have.
The whole, they
hey,
got a
hey, man,
whole
hey,
shield.
man, it is what it is.
Honestly,
They
to
got a whole
to
shield
my
matrix.
monitor listening, it is what it is. You
It
know
is
too.
what it is,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
We've been helping them.
You know what it is too.
Uh,
So I'm not.
Yeah,
Don't
you
we've
know
been
what?
helping them, but
Yeah, to our respective NSA agents and FBI agents who've been spying on us, listen,
And one
don't
direct looking over me. It's
don't-
good.
Yep.
Like,
don't act different, don't act dumb. We both know y'all been
come on,
invested in that place,
like,
bro.
This is fact.
We did set them up with a whole shield matrix.
We did give them whole land to have a whole country, you know.
Fucking Iron Dome.
You know what's crazy about the whole like contested area about who owns what? We never hear about the Christians talk about this, bro.
They have no more to talk about. They've been talking for like the past 2,000 years.
Exactly.
Fuck is left
Fucking, they've been talking to the past 2,000 years. Yeah, to a brick wall.
They've been talking to everybody.
No one
Nobody
ca-
been listening. Really.
don't, because no one cares. Now everyone cares about the Christians' claim to Jerusalem like that, you know. And maybe if they stayed in the Middle East instead of being very European, it would have been different.
They don't need
They
they
stopped caring because they discovered the thing called the bag.
Yeah.
And now a whole different journey opened up.
They fucking have Jerusalem. We have everything else.
We have everything else. Have you seen the Vatican? That shit.
They
Whew.
peep the Vatican.
Peep the MTV Cribs went on to stand what's going on in the Vatican.
We probably don't want to see what's going on.
But
inside
no,
there.
I don't.
Them little boys.
Little poor little
Not the deep perspective.
Raffaello getting molested by a father,
Getting cracked.
Buccelli.
Not the PP pet. The PP petting.
Unfortunately, but yeah.
Let me get off YouTube with that.
Please.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's see what else can I say? Oh yeah, let me
These are
make
not the canceled goons you're looking for.
Hey,
Hopefully that answers your questions, Richard.
I forgot this is a goon podcast.
Yeah, the Untitled Goon podcast hosted by me, the goon leader. Well,
King Goon
the
Gang.
the the
Yeah,
lead
Mark.
the goon host Marvin, because this was my idea.
And don't forget co-host.
Oh yeah, my co-host Hakeem the
Here,
Goon
bro. I've been
Dream.
here every day, bro.
Yeah.
Day one.
Uh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our episode. If I were to have any final thoughts, it's this. Please, Hoteps, stop using Egypt iconography on your kente caps. They're not
Amen.
they're not related to one
But
another.
that shit does go hard, you gotta admit.
Go. As long as they're wearing a turtleneck and a nice chain, sure. But aside from that,
Alright,
there's the branding don't match up.
alright.
It's like Hydra. They call themselves Hydra, but they use a kraken for the symbol.
Mm,
Where's the correlation, bro? Egypt don't even fuck with that West Africa like that. That's a whole different side of the continent, bro.
the correlation.
Use Sudanese colors at least. Sudan has a lot of relations with Egypt in ancient times, so where do you think all those black pharaohs came from? Not from Egypt, from Sudan itself. Anyone got some final thoughts for our folks?
Take out the fufu. Take out the clout chase. Take out the Wi-Fi.
It's
Take out
just,
the money. Take out the car loan.
we're no landfill records in the making, baby.
That's on Jah. That's on Yahweh. That's on
Yahweh.
Allah.
Walai.
Yeah. On Allah, bro. Anyways.
Walaikum salam.
All right, everybody. This was episode 13 of the Untitled Goon Roundtable. Catch y'all next time.
Next time, K-pop. Welcome.
Next time,
ABGs, we're coming for you.
Yeah, we
Stop
come
playing
after
Black
K-pop.
Lives Matter.
You know what? Yeah, free my niggas in K-pop. Next time.
We're on your head top.
Stole our whole flow and hate us, bro. That shit crazy. It couldn't be me.
It couldn't
Literally
be
could not be me.